Hey, welcome back to the channel, my fellow weather junkies. I'm your host, meteorologist Greg Majeski, your trusted weather source here, bringing you the weather without all that social media hype here on your February 6th, 2025. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're tracking here for today. Yes, believe it or not, we got some more ice we're going to have to deal with. We have ice going on today, and we got another system going into areas of the Northeast again heading into this weekend. We'll talk about and break that down for you. We're going to talk about the parade of storm systems coming. I'm counting 5 different systems here over the next 10 days. So a very active and progressive pattern here across the country. And one of those in particular, could this be a big one? Well, let's see. It's a little far out, but I'm going to show you the latest developments on the European model on that as well. Now, before we get going, first, I want to thank the new followers here on the page. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so at this time. It's that bottom right-hand corner. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content. As always, please leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our surface map here for this morning, our satellite imagery here first. We got a system moving here across the Northeast where the wintry mess is up here. Again, looking at some thunderstorms this morning. Actually had some severe weather across portions of Kentucky to begin our morning. Middle of the country pretty quiet, and out on the west coast got a pretty good vigorous storm system moving in here across northern California. They'll be dumping copious amounts of rain and heavy mountain snows out here as well. Now looking at the big picture across the nation, a lot of active weather. Winter weather up here. Again, that purple is your ice. We actually had tornado watches here across Kentucky. It was a little unusual seeing what we were under a marginal risk, and it definitely flared up pretty good overnight. Obviously, we've got some fog out there and winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings out here in the west as well. So here's our surface map. Again, I got a kibosh of stuff up here in the Northeast with snow, freezing rain, sleet all up in there, and a little weak wedge here across the areas of the Piedmont heading down into Northeast Georgia. Here's that heavy rains out here into the Northern California region. Bitterly cold air, below zero temperatures up here across the high plains, up here across the Dakotas and back over toward Montana. Let's go ahead and focus in on some of this active weather here into Kentucky this morning. Got a squall line moving through here, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings moving through this area right here. This should settle on down toward the south, and we should begin to see things begin to settle down over the next couple of days. But definitely going to be a day to watch that line sink down toward the south. In fact, as a result of those storms right there, the marginal risk is continuing for that area there. You see there across portions of Kentucky and getting into areas of Tennessee, looking at that severe weather risk in there, and even parts of Virginia and into North Carolina as that squall line begins to sink further south with that system right there. Now, as far as your day 2 outlook is concerned, not looking too bad here. Things do begin to settle on down as we're just looking at just a slight risk of some thunderstorms out toward the west, and there's really nothing to show you out there on day 3. So we're talking about areas there of Utah, heading into portions of Wyoming and Idaho. Maybe see a little bit of thunder out there with that storm system moving in off the west coast. So not looking too bad there. Now, as far as the excessive rainfall, this is also just for today. Nothing out there for day 2 and 3. Looking at some marginal risk for some isolated flooding there across Tennessee, Kentucky, into West Virginia, areas where those thunderstorms are. And of course, the west coast, we see that big system out there. Could see some isolated pockets of some flooding going on with that system as well. And then the hazards outlook next 3 to 7 days, it's definitely a big mismatch of stuff all over the place. Just kind of indicative of just how busy it is. We got snows here across the Northeast. We got heavy rains expected here across the South. We got some cold weather up here across the high plains. We got some heavy precipitation out here on the west coast. So a little bit of everything for everybody going on here over the next 7 days. So we're going to first focus here, as we usually do here, on the short range model. That's the high resolution model here, as we're going to say goodbye to this system here in the Northeast. It's going to head on out. We've got another storm system obviously coming in here on the west coast that's going to be moving in. And we're kind of remaining unsettled here across this portion of the country. So again, watch that timestamp there in the upper right-hand corner as we're going to watch this go on through here for today. And by the time we get into the late afternoon hours, we finally get to say goodbye to that storm system in the Northeast. But notice the west coast. Yeah, while one storm system's exiting, another one's coming on in there. So that's going to remain pretty hectic out there in the west. Obviously, we'll see some high mountain snows there across the Sierra Nevada, and the snows will be wrapping up across Maine and unsettled here across portions of Tennessee and into Kentucky with some, obviously, as warm as it's going to be, even a few rumbles of thunder with that as well as this goes on through. So going on throughout the day, let's go overnight and go into your Friday. So the storm system out west begins to move inland there, spreading some snows there across areas of Idaho into Montana and Wyoming. With that, again, with that decaying old system there across the south, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, you'll see some spotty showers there going in throughout the day on your Friday. And looks like Again, nothing major there heading into Friday night into Saturday. So what's going to happen, though, going in beyond that is we're going to watch that icing return once again to that zone as we go into this upcoming weekend. We'll show you that here in a second. Now, I want to go ahead and show you the European model. Now, we've got a very progressive, fast flow across the country. Numerous weaker systems coming on through. So as I can take you on through this, nothing really to kind of highlight, just to highlight the fact that we've got a very fast flow, and we've got these little systems embedded in with this across the country from west to east. What's caught my eye is what goes on after next week. So we've got some energy coming down here off the west coast. This piece of energy here that's diving this trough down, it's going to really deepen it down toward the west. We'll see if this holds true. This is still 10 days out here beyond the 7 days. So as it does, it makes that turn right there. That is a very pronounced trough here. All right, so this right here, you got basically this high pressure ridge here that's keeping the southeast warm. Here's our polar vortex crashing our cold air this way. And with that kind of setup, that would definitely be a severe weather setup. Not only would that be a severe weather setup, that would also be a potential, I think, blizzard there for the high plains as well. So again, this is still about 11 days out. We got time to watch this, but it would not shock me to see one of these weaker systems develop into something a little bit bigger as we get deeper into the month. So just keep it tuned here. We'll keep a watchful eye on this as this is projected to move off toward the east, and then kind of settles it in back to a flatter flow across the country once that moves out as we head toward the 20th. So let's go ahead and break this down. We talked about the short term. We're going to talk about what's going on here going into this weekend. Again, we see that winter precipitation, that ice coming back again here across Pennsylvania. Areas that just getting hit here today, going to get hit again going into Saturday once again. So this is storm system number 1. This is the first one. And as we go forward into time, here we'll go ahead and move that forward. And then we're going to get storm system number 2. Here's number 2, kind of clashing here along this old boundary. Coming in through the Midwest and obviously the Southeast looking wet and rainy as well. South of that frontal system, that pushes off into New England. A little more snow there with this one, but still a little bit of ice there across portions of Maryland. You see the pink in there, so we got some pink in there. Heavier snows there, maybe getting into New York City with that. So that's storm system number 2. It's going in toward Tuesday of next week. So we bring this forward. Here comes storm system number 3. Again, wow, look at this. Look at it. Freezing rain in that zone. Freezing rain here. Snows are in the blue, obviously, and this moves on through going into Thursday. So this goes Thursday into the northeast, bringing the snow. That's storm system number 3. Then we got storm system number 4 coming on out. Here comes the next one here. I actually could have called that on this too. So this is the one I'm most concerned about. This is the one. A lot of ice with this one. Boy, it really fires up a lot of freezing rain on this one, significantly so. This could be a big snowstorm on the backside of this. And of course, in this zone, we'll be looking at severe weather on this one if this is to hold true. So this is what we got to watch closely here with this as we go into later into the month. So this is around the 15th and into the 16th as this storm system pulls out of the Rockies and into the plains. Again, a lot of time to watch this one. But this is one I'm most concerned about on the model data as of today. Now, this system does push off toward the east. It does break down this ridge. At least it tries to. This ridge has been protecting the southeast and keeping it very warm there. It tries to bring in the cold air. But what the European has been doing with that cold shot has been sliding it to the right day by day. So I'm not overly confident that this big ridge, which is sitting down in here, is going to give ground or not. So we'll see if that's going to hold true or not, because what the cold shots coming into the southeast have been progressively moving to the right day by day every time one of these models has been coming in. So we'll wait and see on this one. But it does clear on out. And then once this does, it looks like the pattern settles down just a little bit. I don't see any storm systems for a while, but 4 or 5 different storm systems here over the next 10 days is going to make weather forecasting problematic, changing day by day, because outside of that one major system, a lot of them are just weaker ones, and you've got basically boundaries that are kind of bumping into each other. So it's going to make forecasting challenges, to say the least. All right, so let's talk about the precipitation chances here over the next 72 hours, looking for the next 3 days. So here's what we're looking at for the next 72 days. We got rain here, obviously, across areas of the Ohio River Valley. Rains out here on the west coast here as well. We'll get a little snows up here, obviously, and where it's colder, they'll get a little snow into that. So that's for this next 72 hours. Let's bring this out to 240. A little more substantial rain on this. Obviously here, heavier rains here across the south. Look at Southern California. They really light up with some very heavy rains here across Los Angeles. Of course, after the recent wildfires, that obviously means mudslides. Got to be watchful of that as we go through the next 10 days. and then taking you on out to 340 here. Again, you can see how much wetter it is here as far as the next 2 weeks are concerned here across the eastern half of the United States. Finally, getting a little bit of rain out here in the southwest, which has been on the dry side most of this winter. It looks like they may get a little bit of rain in there as well. Let's talk about the ice part of this. Now, this is what we're kind of getting here for today. This is what's already fallen so far here across this region. We're going to add a little bit more to this. And I tell you that big storm system later, watch what it does here on the freezing rain forecast, okay? So you got this one for this weekend. We're going to add it basically in the same zone, that same area. So we're adding more freezing rain on top of what's already fallen on top of this zone going into Saturday and going into Sunday. Then going into beyond that, if that next one holds true, you still got some more freezing rain coming in here. You got multiple freezing rain events. And then there's the big one. There's the one right there. That's that big one. Obviously, if it comes true, that's still 10, 11 days out, obviously, toward the 16th there. That could be a substantial icing event there across Michigan and into New York. Again, wait to see on that one. That's obviously this far out, but that's something I'll be watching closely if that next storm system surges that warm air to over that cold air at the surface and we get that freezing rain. Let's go ahead and break down the snow totals here. Again, this is going out to the whole 360. The Northeast continues to get pounded. One of the snowiest winters on record they've had up into that part of the country. Again, you got plenty of heavy snows out toward the west and a couple of these minor storm systems here that may bring snows down toward the areas of Ohio, back toward Missouri. And this would be that obviously potential blizzard if we get a big low to form there on that fourth storm system on the 16th of February. We'll see if that comes true or not. But again, one thing I'll say what's been consistent with the models here has been for this season, the heavy snows have been in the Northeast. They've been out in the West, and that has been consistent really here going back to even January. So it has been, the middle of the country has not seen as much as they typically do, but areas of the Northeast and the West, it definitely have. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the temperature battles here. Boy, when I say battle royale, that's how I kind of tease this because you got these air masses that are really going to be duking it out here with some of these storm systems. Obviously, you see the reds there. We got very warm weather here across the south. You got cold weather here across the Intermountain region and there into southern Canada. And these guys are going to continue to play bumper cars and really kind of beat each other. We're going to cool it down a little bit there in the south, a little bit. Going into this upcoming, there's a frontal system coming into the south, but it's going to stall. This front's going to stall down here. But again, we've got that big ridge here that's protecting the southeast from getting into that cold air. But you see the colder temperatures here across the high plains, and they're coming even into Texas and Oklahoma a little bit. But they're going to oscillate and go back and forth. I mean, that's the thing. They're really duking it out. You see it kind of cool there going to the next week. You got this Arctic air trying to come down here. Here's a good Arctic air mass coming down here toward the 11th here. Across the high plains, but again, you got this frontal system here down toward the south. I don't think that's going to make much penetration there. It's going to try to get into the south, can't do it. See, so that line's going to hold there and protect the southeast, but everybody else is going to see some colder temperatures there as we go through the 12th and into the 13th of next week. So again, that continues to hold on, and then it warms up once again, and then as we head toward the 15th, this is when things get interesting. We'll watch this cold air here. We're going to watch this battle. You can see how warm it is out ahead of this. So we're going to be very warm, and that cold air is going to try to plow into it. It's going to really, that causes lift. You get the cold air. It's heavier at the surface. It's going to plow it and zoom it up. And that's when you get your thunderstorms. And when you see a sharp dividing line like this start to develop here going late in the day, when you start seeing something like that, where you see that kind of a clash, you know you're in store for some pretty heavy weather there. Look at that. Really pushing going into the 16th. So we're going to watch this very closely to see what kind of thunderstorms get out of this as this cold air plows into this very warm air out ahead of it. And because of the overrunning, that's when you get the freezing rain out ahead of it there going into the 16th. Again, this is long range. Obviously, it's subject to change when you're talking 264 hours out. But I just want to kind of illustrate that point that we got that moving on through. Now, this model does finally break this ridge down, but I'll wait to be... I've been waiting for this for a while. It's been... Every day has been pushing back a day of this thing actually breaking down that southeast ridge and moving on through. So we'll wait and see on this one or not. But it does cool down most of the country on the 18th and 19th here on the long range on the European model, and then it starts to moderate just a little bit here across the country as we head toward the 20th. So we'll see how that works out. We'll wrap things up by looking at your climate outlook here, as again, we got that ridge across the southeast, and I'm going to believe with the Climate Center on this one, this is going to stay in place. Cold here across the big portion of the country, and where that battle zones are setting up, that's where the winter precipitation, the icing is going to continue to be a problem, especially the 11th through the 15th, and it does moderate a little bit here 13th to the 19th. Keeps it mild here across the southeast, but obviously the European model says, not so fast, I'm cooling it down here across the country. We'll wait and see on that because, again, the European model has just been, it's been trying to bring the cold air south, but it's been moving it to the right a day or two every model run that's been coming in. So until I see some consistency there, we'll keep it mild here across the south, colder here to the north, and this is going from the 13th through the 19th. Precipitation-wise, we're very active, folks. I mean, obviously we got precipitation even getting into the southwest finally, as we showed you there on the precipitation outlook here across the country. It's going to stay pretty busy there, and then it still stays fairly busy, although near normal here in the middle of the country here as we go out from the 13th through the 19th. So a very interesting pattern to say the least. I knew it was going to be February chaos. I teased that at the beginning of the month. I didn't realize how right I was going to be about this weather pattern coming at us. That's for sure. But that huge Arctic outbreak that we were kind of tracking, it's going to get cold. We're going to have some Arctic air coming in across parts of the country, but nothing like the big dump that we were looking at earlier in the week. That's clearly backed off a little bit here. But with the mild air in the country and the cold air there, opportunities for icing, severe weather, as well as just heavy snows, they're all going to be in the cards here as we progress through the next 10 days. So the best advice I can give you here, folks, if you like what you see with this product, please consider subscribing to this channel so I can keep you updated on the changes that happen every day. Again, anybody giving you a forecast beyond, say, 7 days, it's a speculation at that point, okay? 5 to 7 days, we can kind of get a lock in, but even with that, the way these models are looking right now, because these are weaker systems, even day-to-day changes are going to happen. So again, just keep it tuned here. I'll keep you updated on those changes. And if you like what you see, there's something you'd like to see, please leave a comment down below. I do appreciate you guys' feedback. All right, that's your update for now. You guys take it easy. Be good, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next update. Until then, y'all have a good day. Bye, guys.